If you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. 4 years ago, Biden was then candidate Biden, and his campaign was struggling. He was on his third time running for president because he failed the first time in 87 when he was exposed for plagiarism. And in 2008, there was just no way he was going to beat out Hillary Clinton and then an up and coming Barack Obama. So the third time was the charm. And Joe Biden was getting destroyed in these polls. The South Carolina primary was the third um, primary on the docket, and Biden needed a jolt to save his failing campaign. Well, in comes old nigga Jim Clyburn, right? And this tweet that he put out 3 days before the Super Tuesday, right, on the 29th of February of 2020, he put this out on the 26th of February 2020. I know Joe. Joe knows us, right? That tweet right there saved Biden's ass as he was able to win South Carolina and eventually become the president of the United States. So this was 4 years ago. Now, what did Biden do in these 4 years he was president? Did he sign any bills that was going to benefit the black community? I don't know, say like reparations, ending qualified immunity, anti-black hate crime bill. Has he done any of that? Then, when you correlate that to him signing 46 executive orders his first day in office, right? When he made these promises of the uh, John Lewis Voting Rights Act, and that Voting Rights Act was a nothing burger, considering that we already have voting rights. We in the black contingent already have voting rights, because if we didn't have voting rights, you wouldn't have all these politicians and their bootlicking handlers come around your town every election cycle, talk about you need to vote like your life depends on it, and that this is the most important election cycle of our lifetime, and that if you don't vote, you are voting for Trump. All these stupid ass, goofy ass talking points they be using to try to get you out and vote, but they have not provided anything tangible in return for your vote. Now, when Biden won his the Super Tuesday election for the Democratic primary back in 2020, he was in Columbia, South Carolina when that went down. Right? So, as president, he has not done anything for the black community. He just hasn't. And also, what we were subjected to, right? Because instead of us getting tangibles, we got all kinds of symbolic gestures like Kamala Harris, the very first black woman, quote unquote, now I put that in quotation marks, vice president. We got Maya Angelou on the quarter. We got a Harriet Tubman statue. We got Corinne Jean Pierre, even though she don't identify as black, she identified as LGBTUVWXYZ. That's what she identified as. But yet somehow she gets deemed as a first black woman White House press secretary. Then we get Ketanji Brown Jackson as the first black woman Supreme Court justice, right? And in that symbolic gesture, in that whole symbolic gesture, We were subjected to all kinds of singing and dancing and all kinds of nonsense. That's what we were subjected to. But we got nothing tangible. We got nothing tangible. Matter of fact, we need to take a trip down memory lane because I want to show y'all what we got instead. I want to show y'all what we got instead. I want to show y'all what we got instead. Hold on. Thank everyone for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button and support the channel. This is what we're subjected to instead of getting our tangibles. Hold on. We scroll up here. And I want to show y'all what the hell we were subjected to.
Rolling. We've come a long way to Justice Brown Jackson. We came in to celebrate Justice Brown Jackson. We came from the Harriet and Sojourner to Justice Brown Jackson. Ida B. Wells and Dr. King. Justice Brown Jackson. Shirley Chisholm. Justice Brown Jackson. Barbara Jordan and Maxine Waters. Justice Brown Jackson. We came here to celebrate Justice Brown Jackson. A black woman on the Supreme Court. Justice Brown Jackson. A beautiful, intelligent woman. Justice Brown Jackson. Yeah. Justice. On the Supreme Court.
Fast forward 4 years later, Biden losing black support because we did not get the tangibles that we were promised. We did not get the Police Accountability Commission. The whole George Floyd Policing Act, yeah, Biden kicked that can down to Congress, and Congress picked up that can and threw it in the trash. And as you can see, the person off to the left, that's old nigga Jim Clyburn wiping the sweat off his dome and whatever hairline he had left. So Biden earlier today, or as of this live stream on Monday, January 8th, 2024, he was hoping to rekindle the same energy that he had in winning South Carolina back in 2020. Now, mind you, he went to Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina, my hometown, where I grew up at. My best friend goes to that church, right? And it was the same place where that white supremacist piece of trash, Dylan Roof, went to a Bible study on June 17, 2015, opened fire at that church. Now, mind you, he was there for an hour. He was in the trench coat. Then he interacted briefly with the parishioners that was at that church. While they were praying, he took his gun out, opened fire, killed 9 people, including the senior pastor at that church, Reverend Dr. Clementa Pinckney, who just also happened to be a South Carolina state senator. Earlier that day, Dr. Pinckney was campaigning with Hillary Clinton because Hillary Clinton was vying for her bid to become president of the United States. Now, another thing that happened 3 months prior to that in 2015, this is when Walter Scott, a retired Coast Guard veteran, was shot and killed by Michael Slager. This when Walter Scott was running away from Michael Slager, and Michael Slager just practically emptied out his magazine, shooting Walter Scott 8 times in the back. That happened 3 months before the Dylann Roof incident in my hometown. But what did Barack Obama, because that Dylann Roof incident and the Walter Scott incident happened under the Obama-Biden administration. What's up, CB Sports TV? Salute to my homie in the building. That happened during the Obama-Biden administration in 2015. And what did we get? Did we get an anti-Black hate crime bill? Did we get any kind of tangibles for the Black community, like any qualified immunity, reparations, anything like that? We got nothing. That's what we got. We got nothing, and we were supposed to like it. So once again, as a form of symbolism, when Barack Obama did the eulogy in 2015, he sang a couple Al Green, he sang a couple verses to Amazing Grace, and people lost their fucking minds. He said a couple empty gestures, and people were putty in his hands. Just a goddamn old slick talker Skywalker. But we got nothing. And here we are in 2024. We got old nigga Jim Clyburn and this walking filth. Yeah, because he's sitting up here talking about, oh man, we need to combat white supremacy. Excuse me, you're white supremacist. Have we not forget about the 50 years of tyranny to your reign as a senator, as a vice president, and as a goddamn president of the United States? Really? Like, we're just going to forget about the Anti-Drug Abuse Act in 1986, right? The 100-to-1 disparity between crack cocaine and powder cocaine. So your son, hold on. I'm going to get out of this. I don't know why that came up. But anyway, back to the regularly scheduled program already in progress. So old nigga Jim Clyburn, what's up, Courtney? Salute to my homie in the building. I lost my train of thought now, no thanks to this goddamn on pop-up from YouTube about Palestine. Lost my train of thought. So we're just gonna pick it up here at the goddamn Biden speech, right? So you go down there, you go down to South Carolina, you give this empty speech, and then you got people in the church talking about free Palestine. What in the fuck? Oh yeah, okay, thank you, 3,000 degrees, thank you. So he's sitting up here talking about we need to battle and combat white supremacy. Biden, you're white supremacist. We're just going to forget about the 50 years of tyranny to your reign as a senator, as a vice president, and as the president. The Anti-Drug Abuse Act of 86, yeah, because as your son was dropping cocaine packets in the goddamn floor in the White House, and the Secret Service act like, oh, we don't know where that came from. Meanwhile, a black man can get a crime projected onto him, and he's doing 50 years in prison over a crime he didn't commit. Your dog commander going around here playing Ren 1010, using people's goddamn arms and legs as chew toys and shit. What's up? What's up, Max's Royalty? Meanwhile, we can't get any kind of support in the neighborhoods for the black community. And yet you're going to bring your ass to a predominantly black church trying to get the black vote. And let's not forget about the 94 crime bill. When you was parading around that thing is Biden's law and the whole truth in sentencing thing, to where you had to do 85% of your sentence before you even get considered for parole. I wonder who was that targeted. And then you had all these states building more jails because baked in that crime bill was a $13 billion incentive. So we just going to forget about all that, right? Oh, well, LB, you got to understand that was like 30 years ago. That was like 50 years ago. People evolve. People change, right? Let that stupid bitch Tamika Mallory tell it. So here we are again. Joe Biden, grizzled, 80 years old. That goddamn leopard ain't changed a spot, not one iota. He is rubbed elbows and curry favor with some of the most diabolical white supremacists and segregationists out here in today's society. When you talk about Herman Talmadge, Strom Thurmond, etc., right? But we supposed to just forget about everything, not get our tangible. We just blindly throw our support behind you, right? The fuck out of here. Ain't no way in hell I'm throwing my support behind this terror. No, I ain't calling them terrorists, but you are white supremacists. Let's not forget about the 4 years he was president and him and the Democrats were doing this gender divide with all the black women and make black men irrelevant. Oh, and where was Kamala Harris? Where was Kamala Harris at? Yeah, miss, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No. Where was she at? Was she at one of her little Alpha Kappa Alpha conventions and all that? Right? And look, why was Jim Clyburn there and not Kamala Harris? Right? I'll give you two reasons. Typically, you don't want the president and the vice president in the same area at the same time in the event some madman comes in there and shoots up the place. That's for one. For two, Kamala Harris is a political liability. So that's why you ain't going to have Kamala Harris come up in there. Camel toe, oh, camel toe. Yeah, but her claim to fame was cocking her legs up and getting ran through by downtown Willie Brown. That old motherfucker was banging that thing out every day and twice on Sunday. And then when you ask him about it, yeah, I did. Yeah, we did it. So what? Just being all nonchalant about the shit with your baby. You got goddamn Johnson's baby pot on them naughty ass hair taco meat chest of yours and shit, and you out there wearing that #1 grandfather chain on, trying to rekindle some magic in it. I bet you had a whole goddamn old thing of Viagra in your goddamn drawer in it, motherfucker. Anyway, Dan neither here nor there. But yeah, Kamala Harris was a political liability. That's why Biden ain't took her. All the stories we heard over the years about the infighting. Biden don't trust Kamala Harris, especially when Kamala Harris botched that interview with Lester Holt. Hey, to put a button on this, do you have any plans of going to the border? We've been to the border. We've been to the border. We've been to the border. You hadn't been to the border. And I hadn't been to Europe either. Yeah, when she said that shit, yeah. The White House the next day tapping the John Cooper's feed on CNN, all pissed off about that. And she had to do interview training at the order of President Joe Biden. Yeah, that woman. That woman don't even read the presidential daily brief. She don't read the brief. These people that's under her watch, putting in time, effort, energy, and money behind this shit, she don't read the brief. She goes to the meeting, get made to be a disgrace, and then she comes back and berates the same people who spent time, money, effort, and resources to make her look good when she does all the looking bad in her own right. That's why you have all these mass exodus of people leaving. They don't trust her. Her claim to fame is holding some private party 50-year hip-hop extravaganza at her vice presidential house and she out there doing the vibrant thing, out here looking like a goddamn Pink Panther. Yeah, what the fuck was that? Your non-dancing ass. Anyway, so we fast forward to where we at today. An old nigga Jim Clyburn wiping the sweat off his dome and what little bit of hair he had left. So both these dudes is like in their 80s. And you talk about, and y'all in the crowd talk about 4 more years? Hell, that motherfucker ain't guaranteed to be here 4 more months. And y'all sitting there and talking about 4 more years, 4 more years. No, y'all should have remixed that bitch and say no more years, no more years. Did Dylan Roof get shot by the police? No. Dylan Roof got taken alive, and that motherfucker even got Burger King. Hey, for your selfless determination and eliminating some black folks, hey, we're going to take you to Burger King and get you #1 with all the fixings you want. Hey, you want some cheese? You want some bacon? You want some mustard? What do you want on your Whopper? That's what he got. He over there tripping and falling everywhere, can't even remember his sentences and all that. But yeah, we supposed to give him 4 more years. Okay. Yeah, right. Clyburn would rather do stuff for the Catawba Indians than do stuff for the black folks that voted him in office. And then on top of that, this motherfucker, yeah, old Jim Clyburn, old nigga Jim Clyburn, and what he was doing, right, behind the scenes, he was working with the Republicans to redraw the voting districts out in South Carolina so it could keep his old grizzled ass in power. That's what he was doing. When he's sitting out here doing all this work, yeah, let's bring in J. Michelle Childs. Let me tell you about her, right? J. Michelle Childs, old grizzled bitch. She tried to, or what she did was she put a black man in jail, and yeah, this is a black woman. She put that man in jail for 12 years over an ounce of dope. That she did. But that's who old nigga Jim Clyburn wanted to put into the Supreme Court. But she didn't get the Supreme Court. That went to Ketanji Stitch 9. But what ended up happening for J. Michelle Childs, she ended up going to the second highest court in the land, which is the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals. That's right. So that's the extent of the work Jim Clyburn was doing. So Jim Clyburn also got Jamie Harrison. Yeah, you know, I'll show you who Jamie Harrison is in a second. Jamie Harrison couldn't beat Lindsey Graham in 2020 for the Senate seat out in South Carolina. Instead, since he raised so much donation money for the Democratic Party, he ended up as chair of the DNC. Now, if you want to know who Jaime Harrison is, he's a 3-chin, big titty, no neck having ass motherfucker, just like Roland Martin is. But he just happened to be in a position of power. I'm going to play a clip of him, Jonathan getting in my bussy Cape Heart, DJ.
But the story in the paper was about an extraordinary meeting at the White House to discuss support among black men. Is there why was that meeting necessary, that specific conversation? And is there a danger that black men either don't vote for Biden, but actually vote for Donald Trump?
Well, we know the contrast. The president often says, don't compare me to the almighty, compare me to the alternative. Donald Trump was a disaster for black America, and we know it. And we'll make sure that folks who forgot that, because, you know, it's been 4 years, that they remember all of the things that he's done to attack and what Republicans are constantly doing now to erode voting rights, to erode.
Okay, first of all, we remember what Trump did, but we also remember what you didn't do, Jamie. So yeah, miss me with that clown shit. Anyway, you say Cape Heart is a you say Cape Heart is a stain in the great city of New. Well, that's the only place he had to stay, and I'll tell you that much. And for all we know, him and Andrew Gillum might have gotten a little wham bam thank you ma'am session, you know, in one of them Diddy parties. For all we know, shit, he probably cheating on his white husband right now with Andrew Gillum at a Diddy party. For all we know, Anyway, they ain't need to hear there. I'm not trying to make this grotesque. I'm trying to get back on subject. The fact of the matter is, Biden went there in the hopes of rejuvenating the black vote because he just losing support. He already lost support. That's the whole reason that he decided to take his ass down to South Carolina and Mother Emanuel AME Church. And then you got these bootlicks, these turncoats, these sellouts out here. And look, it's easy for me to go at Clyburn and Kamala Harris and that other three chin big titty no neck having ass motherfucker who be robbing Bed Bath and Beyond and Roland Martin. It's easy for me to go at these folks. But what is hard to do is when your mama is selling out and she telling you got to go vote blue no matter who, or your cousin that's sitting there talking about you want 4 years of Trump, you need to go vote for Biden, or your brother that he went to a Kamala Harris rally and he had all kinds of dreams and aspirations of being with Kamala Harris. That is the people that we need to, because look, you can sit up here, look, we got to try to send the message out that these dudes ain't for us. They ain't trying to do nothing for us. If anything, they're trying to compete with the Republicans to see who's going to be the one to crack the whip out on our asses. That's what's going on here. And look, we can throw the message out there, but we can't, look, we're not going to get everybody. We're not going to get everybody. Because once again, people are going to already have preconceived notions about who they want to vote for. But that still doesn't mean that we can't try our best to get the message out there. But yeah, this is nothing new. It's the same old thing they do year in and year out because we have the same old issues year in and year out when you talk about jobs, taxes, healthcare, reparations, ending qualified immunity. The same old thing, the same old song and dance. People can't even buy a goddamn chicken at a Harris Teeter without it costing $25. Or gas prices going through the roof. Or if you're in the military, they downsize the military just because. So you could be a serving, a high-ranking person that's serving your country, and at a flash of a lightning bolt, they're going to kick you out just because we got to downsize. And these self-serving professional bullshit artists, all they want to do is tell you, you got to vote for me. Because if you don't vote for me, what's the alternative? But they're not offering you nothing. All they want to do is sing and dance and shuck and jive their way to the position of power. And then when they get there, they want to act like they forgot where they came from. That's why you have old nigga Jim Clyburn want to kick people out his that damn fish fry anytime they're asking for reparations. I ain't forget Clyburn when you sitting there wiping the sweat off your dome and all that. Yeah. Anytime someone asks you about reparations, someone's getting kicked out his fish fry. That's supposed to be free. Anyway, Dandy to hear there. You guys let me know what y'all think about this. If you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share these videos on your social media platforms. Last but definitely not least, shouts out to the LDBC. This your man. Scream at me. Ho!